You already seen the thumbnail. This is a game about Garry Kasparov, all right? Who cares about his opponent, Alexei Shirov? When we go through a game about Garry Kasparov, I'm not expecting him to lose, and in this game, he doesn't. And actually, his first move, just to get into the video, was e4 since he was playing the white pieces and his opponent was playing the black pieces. Let's get started. After e4, then his opponent did the move c5, going into the Sicilian, knight f3, and I don't know why people play the Sicilian against Garry Kasparov in his prime days, but you know, it is what it is. Then we got e6. After e6, going into like the Sicilian defense French variation, then we got a d4, and let me just make sure, c takes on d4, knight takes on d4, and then we got the move knight f6, attacking the pawn on e4, and we're in opening theory right now. After knight f6, knight c3, then we got the move knight to c6. After knight c6, attacking the d4 knight, then we got the move knight to b5, threatening the knight going to d6, which that's why Alexei did the move d6. After d6, bishop f4, then we got the extra move e5. After e5, bishop to g5, pinning the knight to the queen. Then black did the move a6, knight a3. And then after knight a3, b5 happened to threaten the fork on b4. After b5 happened, knight to d5, and everybody should be listening up right now because this is all opening theory if you're trying to play the Lasker-Pelikan variation and the Shirkov variation, right? It's both of those together. We still don't know exactly what's gonna be the main line yet, but you know, it is what it is. After bishop to e7, after knight to d5, we got bishop takes on f6. We're just gonna go on until we're out of the opening theory. Bishop takes on f6, and then we got the move c3. I used to play this on the black side a lot, so I'm enjoying whatever is going on. It just sucks that Garry Kasparov is not on the black side, but it's Alexei Shirov. My bad, no offense if you're watching this video, but there's a lot of people that like Garry Kasparov, all right? Okay, after bishop b7, after c3, we got the move knight c2. Knight c2, knight to b8, maybe rerouting that knight to d7, c5 in the future. Then we got the move a4. Why not hit that pawn on b5 and see what Alexei is gonna do about it? And what he did about it was take that Adam pawn off the board. Poor Adam, that is crazy that he got taken off the board. Then we got the move rook takes on a4. After rook takes on a4, knight b to d7, you know, rerouting that knight to c5. Now you're hitting the rook. When you go to c5, we got the move rook b4 because Garry Kasparov is not just gonna let you attack his pieces because he believes in the principle time, space, quality. And he has the time to attack your bishop. I'm not gonna give you the time to attack my rook. After rook b4, knight c5, which still happens, defending the bishop, etc. Then we got the move rook takes on b7, the first sacrifice of the day. And a lot of people might be thinking, is this really valid? Like, if you look at the position, the king hasn't castled yet. The bishop is still on f1, not developed. The rook is still on h1, not doing nothing. And Garry Kasparov is allowed to do the sacrifice. Doesn't this break all the chess principles? Well, here's the thing, okay? After knight takes on b7, Garry Kasparov did the move b4. And oddly enough, white has more center control and more space than his opponent. This bishop cannot capture this knight ever in life, and this knight cannot replace this knight ever in life, especially with the move knight e3. So yes, the pieces that Garry Kasparov has, the minor pieces, the dynamic position that he made is better for white than it is for black. And actually the computer, if you look at it, the chess engine is giving him a 0.8 advantage even though he's an exchange up. Crazy enough. Like, what are you supposed to do about this? After b4, bishop g5, just trying to do the best you can in this position. Then we got the move knight to a3. We don't want to go to the original knight to e3 move because bishop is going to take our knight, which we don't want that happening. After knight to a3, we got castle king side. This gives both people an advantage in this position because when you sacrifice for a quality advantage in chess, that makes it a lot more riskier and a lot more, you have to have a lot more precision if you're playing quality-based positions like Garry Kasparov. You have to have a lot more precision in the type of moves that you play. After kingside castle, knight c4, then we got the move a5. After a5, bishop d3, because activity is still king. Bishop d3, a takes on b4. And then what do we got? C takes on b4. Then we got the move queen b8. After queen b8, black is still losing, just for everybody to know. And black is still like in despair right now. These three minor pieces are controlling the whole board. And whoever controls the center, chess principle, whoever controls the center controls the game. And if you're controlling the center and you have space on the queen side, why not attack the king side too? When you have space, you can attack both sides. So after h4, pushing up Hector going in, then we got the move bishop h6, and now we don't really know what this bishop is doing. And then you really figure out, okay, black pieces are really disorganized. They have no coordination. It's like they had a meeting and they was just playing Fortnite the whole time instead of actually considering, oh snap, maybe we should work together, you know? They was like playing Fortnite or whatever other games that you'll be playing nowadays. What other games do y'all be playing? Overwatch, I don't know. Hopefully y'all just playing chess, because I want to see somebody become the best in the world while watching my videos. So after bishop h6, you got the move knight c to b6, attacking that rook on a8. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure black would rather white to take that rook instead of just keeping all the material. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, here's the rook back. And actually, what is the computer doing? Actually, you know, maybe they won't let the rook go back. I was just considering the position here. Rook a2 was played, which is good enough, because Garry Kasparov is still gonna have to make the most precise moves in this position. After kingside castle, and let me just point out something else too, now that I'm thinking about it. This pawn is passed. If this pawn goes to the b7 square, this is completely losing. Not only do black has this big weakness on the d6 square, on this d5 square, because this is a major outpost for white, and this is why when you put a knight on a major outpost, it could be worth more than a rook. We got this passed pawn right here that could be promoted, that could be pushed up at the right time, of course, because we don't want to push up the pawn right now to b5. That's giving black more squares to go to. You got to consider what squares your opponent can go to. After castle kingside, we got the move rook d2, a fake fork. What is a fake fork? Well, a fake fork is basically your opponent forking you, but you can just get out of the fork very easily. For example, you can go to queen b3 or queen f3, which was the move that Garry Kasparov have done. After queen f3, we got queen a7, and then we just got the move not queen, but knight d7, which was actually an inaccuracy in this position. If black would have just held out just a little bit further, did the move rook a8, they would have been out of there. They would have probably had a chance to defeat the world champion. But actually, let me just confirm what time period this was right quick. Oh crap. I moved the game board instead of like the whole slide. Yeah, this was back in 1994. You probably would have had a chance. All you have to do was hold out a few more moves. And this is a time where he decided to give the material back by doing the move knight to d8. Which seems like a reasonable move, right? You give the rook back, you get the knight back to e6 or c6, and maybe I can get some activity. And maybe it won't seem like a losing game for me, which psychologically speaking, it does. Garry Kasparov took that rook back, which was probably surprising to him. He was probably thinking, man, maybe he won't take my rook since he's winning, but nope, he took your rook. He was like surprised probably. He was probably looking at the board all menacingly, because you already know the Garry Kasparov stare. He was probably mad, and he was very he showed a lot of expression when he was playing chess. So after king takes the knight back on f8, now we pushed up b5 since his knight moved. We push up the pawn once the knight moved and doesn't have the opportunity to go to c5 or a5 at this position. Now the only square that the knight can go to is e6 to d4 maybe. But is this just a passed pawn that can't be stopped? Let's figure it out. After b5, we got queen a3, attacking this bishop. What is Garry Kasparov going to do about that? After queen a3, he did queen f5, which, you know, this is getting out of hand. This definitely is getting out of hand, because if let's just say, right, let me just confirm with my computer, right? Actually, dang, they're not letting me. Oh, okay, since the king already moved. Let's just do this, right? If queen takes on d3, queen d7 is basically wrecking black's position still. Garry Kasparov was in the mindset of giving away more pieces, even though he already got his dynamic position. I feel like in this position, Garry Kasparov knew that he was winning, and he had all the activity in the world, and he had all the experience in the world to realize that, yeah, Alexei Shirov is nothing in this position right now. And the way that he's playing is kind of odd. He's already scared of me. He's already scared of me. In this position, that's why he was forced to play king e8. After king e8, bishop c4, because I don't want you taking my... Actually, wait a minute. The queen was at a3, my bad. The queen was at a3. He went to bishop c4. After bishop c4, rook c2, attacking the bishop. And then we got the move, queen takes on h7, just sacrificing the bishop one more time. What happens if rook takes bishop? Then we have all these queen checks, and you really don't know what's gonna happen here. Like, this is just ugly. Just look at it. If white has the time to take h7 and not have any consequences after that, yeah, you should be like thinking about your life in the past and thinking about the decisions that you made before you sat at this chessboard. Black took the bishop because you can't just avoid taking your opponent's pieces if they're trying to give them to you. And then Garry Kasparov was like, okay, let's do it. Queen g8, only move, king d7. After king d7, we got knight b6. Forking the king and the rook. So you get a bishop, I get your rook. King e7. After king e7, I take your rook, and now I'm up in material because my rook that I haven't used, I've just been hammering your position with my minor pieces, and I haven't even used this rook that came from h1 to f1. That rook has been doing a good job protecting me on the back rank though, but I haven't even used that rook to the fullest potential. After knight takes on c4, queen c5, and then we got the move rook a1 finally, queen d4. Maybe Shirov was trying to take that rook, maybe just in case. I don't know, just playing along, thinking that Garry Kasparov was just gonna blunder at the last minute. Then we got the move rook to a3. Why did rook a3 happen? You already know why rook a3 happened. All right, queen takes on c4. Rook a7 is gonna happen, and that's basically checkmate in like 15 maybe. And oh my goodness. The next move that was played here, bishop c1, attacking the rook, and then knight e3 happened. And when this position happened, when this move was seen by Shirov, he just resigned. Why did he resign? Because there's too many threats. There's too many things to happen here. If queen moves, maybe rook a7 happens. Maybe queen to b6 probably was the best move in this position, but then rook a6 is a threat. It's like, dude, what am I dealing with here? Actually, after queen b6, knight d5 is just forking the pieces. And if nothing, my camera cut off, but let me continue right quick. If bishop takes the a3 rook, then knight f5 is a fork against the queen and the king. Any other move that happens, like queen b2, rook a7 is a definitely good move. Queen can't even go to d1 because of the knight. What happens if queen takes on e4? Rook a7 again. Like, there's nothing that black can do in this position, and I just love the geometry, and Alexei had to resign. And I don't even know, like, what is the chances of getting into a position where you're just lost? Like, pretty much black was put in Zugzwang. This is as good as the Aaron Nimzovich game from back in like 1935, like 1900s. So yeah, he should have known better by facing Garry Kasparov in this game, and he should have rethunk his life Is rethunk a word? He should have just thought about his life before this even happened, like before he even sat on the board. Sat at the board, you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed this. Watch the next video.